Somebody lift those hands and say,
It's a new rise.
I need you to speak it over your own life tonight.
It's a new rise.
It's a new rise.
Hello, hello. Good evening. I'm Megan DiMartino, and I am thrilled to have you here with me tonight on the Propel Deep Dive. It's part of the Propel community, and I am here for you. I have been building businesses for 35 years. I've built 3 7-figure businesses in the beauty industry, 2 skincare brands, 1 luxury day and medical spa and wellness, and then sold 2 of the 3. My heart is to help you start, scale, and then sustain the business and life of your dreams. Because what happens in business, you have an idea and it's a fabulous idea and it's in your spirit. You want to do it, you must do it. But then you don't know how to really actualize it. You really don't know how to start it. And so I am here to help you start, scale, and sustain the business and life of your dreams with my Propel Business and Life Activation Program. But from there, I started breaking it down into small, manageable parts. And I have the Propel Daily, which is a text from me where you get encouragement and inspirational thoughts every day. And then on Monday, we do a motivation mindset for the week e-blast, email to you. And then Thursday nights, we do the Propel Deep Dive. And what I love about the deep dive is that I have an amazing guest, and they're all different. Go back to YouTube, go to LinkedIn, go to the Propel Facebook page, my Facebook page, Instagram, and you'll see these lives, and you'll see a thread of how these people are different, but yet the same, because they have a heart for you, to help you start, scale, and sustain, no matter where you are in your business, or plans of a business, or pivoting to a new business. They have the tools to help you. And so my heart is to have my guest share with you their stories and experiences threaded around my 5 C's, which are clarity, courage, confidence, commitment, and compassion. And so without further ado, I'd like you to meet my guest this evening, Dr. Dale Laing-Hall. And Dr. Dale, better known as Dr. D, Dr. Dale. Hello, hello. But so we'll call you Dr. D or Dr. Dale, okay?
Yeah, well,
Yes.
it works. It works. As long as Dale is in there somewhere, Megan, we're good. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. So I just want to share a little bit about our meeting, and which was last winter at a conference in Dallas, and you and I shared an Airbnb with several other gals, and it's always a blessing to me when you get together with like-minded women and share ideas, thoughts, and but what you're personally doing, and that's to me what the deep dive is about. Meaning we're kind of like in the Airbnb, Dale, and sharing with our guests. And we're on. And welcome to Clubhouse. This is new for us. We're in the Breakfast with Champions After Dark room. So hello, everyone. My
Hello.
my Clubhouse family. Hello, and of course on the Propel Facebook page, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. So very, very robust, Dale. We're all over the place.
Yeah, it's a great thing. Technology for you.
Yeah, exactly. So, but as I said in my intro, you can always go back there after and catch up on if you can't take the whole program.
The replays. Yeah.
But what I'd like to share, I heard Angeline's voice in there, so I'm not sure what that was, but I want to share that I'm a little cold, so I'm a little craggy tonight. So please forgive me, give me grace tonight. Thank you. And, but I wouldn't have this for the world. And so I just, the show must go on. I was with Maria Lind a couple of weeks ago, having her share about her festival song. and my Wi-Fi did not work in my car. I had to go to a networking thing before. And so it was like, oh my God. So I went back in this place, and it's a brewery, and I was sitting on bags of salt outside of these big drums where they make beer. So as I said, the show must go on.
Yeah.
So Dr. Dale, in a nutshell, if you would share what you do, and then I'm going to ask you questions from there, but I want you to crystallize what you do, how you do it, and then I'll go from there.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you, Megan. What I do is, by day, my profession started out in human resources, right? Human resources is the people that, that hire you. And, some people know them as well as the people that fire you, but HR is more than that. It's your career, right? With the organization that you work with. And 15 years doing that. Did that for such a long time, started in the nursing home industry, slowly, healthcare all the way, education, doctor's offices. And I slowly started seeing a trend of people. I started at the front desk, slowly worked my way up to being a manager and a director, then of course head of HR, in the mental health space. But then I started seeing people constantly leaving the job, right? And of course, in case you didn't know, everybody at the front desk knows everything. I worked at the front desk, and I was very curious, very active in all of the different departments. So I got the trust of my administrators, my leaders, the patients' families, the patients themselves, my peers. I knew a little bit about every different department. And so everybody will come and tell me, hey, I'm leaving because of this, and this. And I'll be like, no, why? What happened? By that time, me wanting to fix or help, it was too late. So I kept seeing this over and over again, got tired of it. And I said something needed to be done. Set me in a whole different path to go back to school. And I decided, while working on my HR degree and master's, it led me to the concept of emotional intelligence, started applying it to my life, started seeing how these administrators that I did my research with, they were applying it in their workplaces, getting the results, right? Retaining their employees, having happier workplaces that people wanted to come to every day, right? And at the same time, the organization as a whole started skyrocketing slowly but surely with consistent results, right? Because they stayed consistent to the goals that they had. And I said, oh my gosh, why isn't everybody doing this? And that was it.
Wow.
That was it.
I was just thinking about my spa business, and I had what I called the program. And it did exactly what you just said when you said that the front desk person knows everything. So
Yes.
when a person came with their resume in hand for an interview, and I wanted to hire them, let's say they got that far,
Yeah.
I basically offered them a position, but they had to work at the front desk as
Yeah.
a spa coordinator for 6 months, Dale. And they were trained in aesthetics during that 6 months, and they were paid hourly, but they had to learn the business. And they also had to learn that we were a team, the culture of the business, obviously the product knowledge, the protocol, obviously that. But they had to learn what you just said. And consequently, Dale, and you can use this as a statistic for your next book, that consequently, or joyfully, I should say, these people are still involved in my life. I mean, I've mentored them over 10 plus years. So the point is that John Maxwell is speaking about that, meaning leadership training. And it really starts at that. I love that. You know, the front desk knows everything. Go
They
to the,
do.
they do.
They really do, Megan. When there's a book called, and I think there's a whole concept on this. It says, who said it? Peter Drucker, I think, said, "Culture eats strategy for breakfast." It
That's,
doesn't matter what strategy you have. It doesn't matter what plan. If the culture ain't to the liking of the people that are there, it's going nowhere. You can just throw it all away and start over.
and that's such a, folks who are listening, this is priceless, this information, because we're talking now about hiring, because basically this is really a key to hiring employees, because if they're not aligned with the culture, now you can make mistakes, you can, but by those 6 months, like weeding them out during the spot, you know, that period of time. But the other flip of it, Dale, Dr. Dale, I never had not one human that signed, they had to sign a contract. That did not have one not come to me and say, boy, I had no idea what I didn't know. And I mean, they were like, oh, I mean, how could I have done this without that knowledge? You know, meaning if they had gone off on their own, that priceless training for them. So, wow. So now you have, like you said, you went back to school, you got your in. Now tell me again what the topic was. You said,
My doctorate is in doctor in business administration, and I specialize in social impact management, right? And I
wow,
studied the concept. What I studied was, I did my research on the concept of EQ, which is emotional quotient, emotional intelligence, same thing.
okay, well,
And put that in the workplace, right? It's a social problem, because you study that problem, you take that, and it goes on and on and on and on, Megan, because it starts, okay, that employee, because I don't know, it's a manager lashing out at an employee. That manager had a bad day, something happened, their manager lashed out at them, yelled at them, cursed at them, you know, disrespected them, made them feel some type of way. What happens? That goes down the chain, right? They're going to do the same thing to that employee, if they're not emotionally intelligent or in tune with themselves, right? And when that happens, they take it down the train, and then that employee does it to the customer, right? The employee is like, you know, that manager just yelled at that employee, that frontline employee that's answering the phone. Did you not just hear me? Because the manager just yelled at them. He's like, and then he's mad that he yelled at him. And then what happens? I'm going to go, the employee, I'm going to go yell at the customer, right? I'm going to like feel some type of way. That trickles down. And then that customer has a bad experience with your organization. And then what happens? Word of mouth travels. Everybody in the community knows. And then you're a trash company that nobody wants to work with.
so true, so true. You know, one of the things that I took very seriously, Dale, is that very seriously, things happened, always happen. You know, like you said, the trickle down. But you know, this happened, you know, the massage therapist didn't use the eucalyptus that you like, whatever, you know, I mean, things happen. And so I trained the front desk to never not share things with me. Okay, never not. Now, I don't care what happened, never not. Nothing is too insignificant. And so if there was a complaint, so let's use the massage and the eucalyptus, I would call that person that day and say, hello, Miss Jones. This is Megan from da 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 da, and I'm so sorry you were not pleased with ba da da. And please do come back. We have other massage therapists, a gift from me. Well, first of all, I diffused her, ticked offness that she spent X dollars, right? Or it was a gift card or what have you. And so I diffused it right there. Really? You would do that? That's what I always heard. Number two, the front desk trusted me and knew that I would do that and knew that I would handle the whatever it was, it didn't matter. So that's that. I mean, but how do you, I mean, I know you have your strategies and your trainings, but I really want to say this, Dale, that everything I'm sharing did not just magically appear in my brain. Did not. I went to a master's and a doctorate program, working for many people first and then my own businesses and so forth. So how do you get this to the human that's sitting across from you in a session or in many sessions? How do you approach that?
Empathy, open-mindedness, always be willing to, curious enough to know that you don't know it all. There may be something you don't know. So ask, make room. I learned that no matter the space that you are in, if that space that you are in, whether you're at home, at church, at school, at work, in the super, at that space that you are in, you don't feel comfortable being yourself and showing up as your best self, you're not going to succeed. And I suggest you start changing those spaces or get new friends or whatever it is, getting a better environment. It's not going to allow you to thrive. It's just not, because you feel like you're in a bubble. You have to walk on, you've been in jobs where you have to walk on eggshells around people because you don't want to, set them off. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And and then you're stifling. It's like you're trying to breathe and you're coming up for air you're in water, and you're coming up for air a little bit, and then you can't wait, I want more air. You can't, you're coming back down because you just can't get you. You're trying to be you, and every single time you try to show up as your best self, something is done that pushes you back to, hey, stay in that corner. We need you in that box. We need you to do things this way. We need it to look this way. So you got to figure out, is that corner, is that box, is that job, is that relationship that you're in the best for you? This is a new year. It's time for you to shed all of those barriers and things that are weighing you down. It's time for something new.
But
Maybe.
I think too that the reality said about the toxic environment, nothing is going to change if it is a toxic environment. So you, like you just said, take stock in what's going on, because it's not going to change. And your mental health and, like you said, emotional intelligence is not going to get flourishing. It ain't going to get flourishing in that type of, it's going to disintegrate, and you will be reactionary versus actionary. And so it's time to look at that. But also, I look at personally as the boss person, I don't want to be around myself, and because again, I'm like the mama of the herd. I mean, kind of corralling the herd there, right? And it's like, oh my God. And so, I mean, I could bore you with stories of that nature, but the point is that I was looking for my own emotional intelligence, because if I'm going to come here every day and mentor you and be, the team leader, I had to be surrounded by people that enhanced, not just me, but everyone versus the other. Yeah, very, very key. Are you optimistic? Because I look at the world and it troubles me on this level with the disintegration of, the if it's good for me, it's good for me type of mentality, and relativism and that type of thing. What is your take on that?
I am optimistic, even though the numbers, the last time I looked at them, the world, I think it was only United States. The numbers for United States as a whole, they kind of did a survey research, and it said overall in the United States, the emotional intelligence percentage was 36%. There's a lot of room for improvement there, right? A lot of room for improvement. So am I optimistic? Yes. Why? Because since COVID happened, there was a shift in the workplace. There's a shift in the human race and their mindset and what they're willing and not willing to tolerate anymore. I know people at the highest of the highest level, executive levels, peers, HR professionals, and not only in HR, but employees at all levels of the spectrum leaving workplaces. It doesn't matter what the job and what the money was. They're like, this 6-figure job ain't paying me enough to go through what this workplace is costing me. All of the 8, 9, 20 hour days. I worked at a job at one point in time. In a week, you're supposed, the average is what, 40 hours per week? I did 80, 90 hours a week, right? I only went home to eat, and then I got back on the laptop to continue doing what I was doing, right? And you know what? It worked for that time being, but eventually it started to eat up and catch up to me.
Right.
And I had to do something about it.
Yes, yes. And you as a professional, as well as a human, you took stock, like I said a minute ago, and said this is not worth it. I don't want to go too far in here, but I do want to touch on this before we bring our guests in. I don't want to, as I said, I don't want to get too deep in this, but the thing is, and you're talking about resilience and empathy, how much of your childhood, when you were saying about working 80 hours, I said to myself, she's a pleaser and she wanted to do her job well. And she was there and she finally woke up and said, no dice, no dice. I'm not going to give my life. Yeah. So just as I said, don't go, your life story, but essentially, what, you shared a little bit last week at Kim's thing. I mean, that's our code here. But share with our guests, and the reason I'm bringing this up, Dr. Dale, is the folks that are listening to us, because you may be in a toxic environment today and you're listening to us and saying, oh man, you're speaking to me. But I want you, I'm sure with your counseling, you go back to this type of thing. So I just would like you to go into a few key things that you would work with your patients, clients with, that are working with their, professional mastering their emotional intelligence, and of course the resilience and the empathy piece.
So very, very high level. It's, what do you want? What do you want? Out where you are, what do you want? And let's look at the gap, right? To get you from here to here, right? And then why do you want it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Right? Because it does, like, you keep on going, oh, I want, because I want to make more. I had this client the other day, and he wanted to leave his job, and I said, why do you want to leave his job? He said, because this guy works me to death and he's very rude and disrespectful to me. And I said, okay. I said, is that not something that you like? He's like, no, it goes against who I am. It's not in line with my values. I said, aha, it goes beyond the superficial of pointing the finger at the other person. It's important to you for him not to disrespect you. So I align where they are, where they want to go, see what the gap is, and then slowly work ourselves there. And one of the main questions I would ask them is how their childhood experiences contribute to their decisions that had perpetually led them down this. So you said it perfectly. I was a people pleaser. You said it right. And my mom taught me always respect my elders, respect those that are older than me. It's a yes, be seen and not heard. But, I think where the translation kind of got lost for me when it came to my growing up and my training was, don't lose myself in the process.
Yes, because your heart, who you are, is that heart. Well, you don't want to lose that at all. That's what makes you so delicious and wonderful. Your heart. But it's that personal self-respect and boundaries to protect your boundaries and what is important to you, like you said. Yes, this is, I mean, I'm looking at the time. I mean, Dale, we could talk till tomorrow about this. But I want to ask you one question, then I'm going to ask you the final question. Resilience, and you know, we all know what resilience is. I mean, it's, as I call it, sustaining, you know, instead of jumping around. What is that to you in your work, resilience?
Dusting myself off and getting back up.
Something, believe in something, not stop. Yeah.
Yeah, no matter what, because I got the reason I decided to go on my own emotional intelligence journey because I got tired of complaining about the same thing over and over and complaining to my husband. And the husband is like, you can do something about it. You got to do this, and this. You got to become the manager. You got to become the director. You got to be, you know, you got to help them eat that way. You got to provide them with information and resources. And I got tired of being tired. So it pushed me into action.
Yes.
And I did what I have to do.
But you
And
didn't stop, but you didn't stop. And this is, I think, a very key point, is you stayed in the same wheelhouse in. You didn't just throw the baby bathwater and become a horse trainer or something, you know.
no,
Oh, I love ranches, I want to go, you know. No, you stayed in your wheelhouse, but you went back to school and prepared for the next generation of what you were doing. So, but it's committing to that resilience of what you wanted, what your mission, your vision is, your values, all of that. Yes. And then you took action.
100%, Megan, because you have no idea. I cried so many nights when I said, when I decided to, when I was working, doing my doctorate, just that alone. So many nights I went to the husband. I was like, why did you make me do this? I don't want to do this anymore. And he was like, you know, you can stop anytime. And he's like, but after so many times, even when I was 4 months right before graduation, when I had to turn in that one more assignment or whatever the case was, this collection of my data, 4 months before was the last time I cried about it, because I cried like a couple of times. He said to me one thing that kind of just, I was like, okay, I'm done. I got to finish. He said, if the Dale in the future is okay with the Dale decision today, then walk away and leave it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wasn't going to be okay with it. And I was like, what kind of answer is that?
You were learning, leaving the nursing home world and going into your own private practice was the same point of reference that he's saying. You know, you went to a place where you said no more, and then you prepared for the next evolution.
Yeah.
Same genre, but the next evolution.
Yeah.
That's the 5 C's of commitment. Committing to it no matter what. Burn those coats no matter what, because that's what I see failure coming from, is that people just walk away. And then they're in the same dang place, you know? Yeah, they're just in the same. She's clapping, folks, if you can't see. She's clapping. So let's go to empathy, because that's the 5th C, compassion. So talk to me and all of our guests about empathy. How does that fit into professional mastering emotional intelligence?
Oh my goodness. All true leaders lead with vulnerability and empathy.
Yes.
If you're not, and you're leading by fear, or, you know, putting people down and, you know, making people feel worse,
Yep.
you're not, don't call yourself a leader. You're not inspiring anybody. You're taking away from other people, and you're not making the world a better place. Like, what are you here for? Right? Empathy starts with showing empathy towards yourself,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then towards others, right? Because you don't want to be giving yourself that negative self-talk and saying you're garbage, you're this, you're that, right? But then telling everybody else, oh yes, I'll do that for you. All that you're doing for everybody else, do you need to be kinder to yourself? I don't know. Do you? Yeah, right?
And I mean, that's why the C for, keeping in alignment with C,
Yeah,
C, compassion, self-compassion. Give
yeah.
you compassion. How many times have I made an error? Many, 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 many. And meaning I'm starting scaling and sustaining businesses. But you learn from those, but you give yourself grace that, okay. And then you learn from them and go on. But then compassion for others, yes. And empathy for others. Amen.
And if you don't have that, because the thing is, they said that empathy is, ooh, where is that? No, did we cover confidence already? Did we
Well,
say that one?
I don't do them all. I just stay into what I read of my guest. But yeah, let's talk about confidence for sure.
There is this quote that I got from the training that we did with KWP that I wrote it down and I thought it was really cool. And I wanted to share it here. What is it? I think Justin Guarini mentioned it. You may remember when I say it. And
Here's
he said
just
that, yeah, he said something about confidence, remember?
yeah,
He said, confidence is other people don't see you through their eyes. They see you through your eyes.
yes,
So how you see yourself, which goes back to empathy, right? And that positive self-talk, taking care of yourself, your self-care, all things you, making sure that you pour into you. You're not pouring in from your underflow. You're pouring in from your overflow, right? To help other people. But how you see you will allow people to see, are they seeing you with love, with compassion towards yourself? Because how you see you is how they're going to see you, not how they see you is how they're going to see you. It's through your eyes.
yes. And the other piece of when he was talking about confidence, because he said, a lot of people think of confidence like, oh, haughtiness. And he said that there's a Latin root or Greek root, I forget, I have it in my notes too, but it was something about that it's trusting oneself. And meaning you cannot have confidence unless you trust yourself, going within. So it's, yeah, very important points, all of this. So Miss Dale, Dr. Dale, before we go on, open the room to our guests. So with everything you've shared and what you're doing and what you have done and your journey, what is your passion and what is your purpose?
My mic is off. Yeah. Okay. My passion is making sure that I bridge the gap between employer and employee. That's my passion. I'm very passionate about that.
Yes.
My purpose is making sure my mission is every single person that I come in contact with,
Mm-hmm.
any conversation, any look, any and every, they're leaving better than before they met me, before the conversation even happened. Everybody that knows me knows that I have an annoying outside laugh that is beyond loud. And I've gotten in trouble for it in many workplaces, but that's who I am. And the minute somebody says, oh, you're too loud, I can't be in that space anymore because
Right.
that's not for me. Right. So that's my passion, showing up as my best self and making sure other people do the same for themselves.
Yes. Yes. Amen. When I was writing the little clip of the bio, distilling your bio, but I started out by saying, that your heart precedes you and you will be so blessed by Dr. Dale. So, I mean, that I can agree that that's the real deal, folks, what Dr. Dale just said. She is just a light and it does not change, and it don't change that laugh at all, ever, as they say in New York, ever. So I was just in New York, so I have a little New York still in me. So, Angelina, is anyone in the green room?
Yes, yes, yes. But before I bring our guests that we have in the green room up. I just want to say a shout out and thank you to our clubhouse space. We had about 17 to 20 people come through. We have River here and Jessica on stage. We have Dr. JS, Patricia, Renee, Marie, Denise, Rosanna, Hero Tech, Sharice, Naz, Royal, Manny, and Omar. Thank you for tapping in and listening to
Oh,
the
thank you guys. Really.
with Dr. Dale as a special guest and Megan DiMartino. And then over on Instagram, we had some people join us. Davy DeVargas, Jimmy Robinson, Beautiful Skin is the profile name, Mohammed Jonas and Kwamar Hassan. Thank you guys for tapping in on YouTube or on Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We see you. And then on Facebook, we had some comments from Bob Denal, Marie Stewart Brinston, and Dr. Ruth herself, who was also a guest before. And now I'm going to bring up our guest in the green room with us. He has been consistently with us a lot of times. Welcome, Brian Coletto.
Hello,
So
Brian.
before I give it to Brian, I'm going to see if anybody in Clubhouse, River or Jessica on the stage, do you have any questions or comments that you'd like to ask Dr. Dale or even Megan? I'm going to pause and leave some space. Nope. All right. So back to you, Megan.
Thank you very much. Bob Donnell, hello, special hello. And I would love to have you on the deep dive down the road, so we shall talk. Hello, Brian Coletto. Good evening.
Good evening, Megan. Hi, Dr. Dale.
Hello, Brian.
Now, have you both met? You've met before, correct?
Yeah, I've been in Clubhouse with him before. I do remember. Brian, do you remember seeing my annoying name or hear my annoying voice?
Well, I wouldn't call it annoying, but I would say that I probably do, but I've met so many people that it's not totally ringing a bell at the moment, but I'm
Okay.
pretty sure that if I saw your Clubhouse bubble, then I would know that it's definitely you.
So, Brian,
Okay, so then nice to meet you then.
and Brian, as Angeline said, as she was introducing Brian, he's a regular here, but I've known Brian through Clubhouse for several years, and he lives in New Jersey, and he's just a delightful young man, very hardworking person, and I can't. Pamela, hi, hello, Pamela. Join us if you could. I would love that. But it's not a but to being you delightful man. Um, but Brian is on the autism scale and works in a facility, a company that trains special needs individuals, and he's has worked with them for many years, and he's now director of marketing. And yes. So I'm like a proud mama. And, you need to follow Brian on Clubhouse. Well, that too, probably. But on Instagram and Facebook, because he is, Dr. Dale, he is always doing videos for the community. I mean, anyone would enjoy them. They're so well crafted. But he's speaking to the community, giving encouragement, Dr. Dale. It's just wonderful. And yesterday, he was at a Chamber of Commerce. He's in Central Jersey, and he went to a dinner, I guess, a get together with multiple chambers in that region. And
That was actually Tuesday night.
okay,
Although I did have another event that I went to last night as well. I just haven't posted photos from that yet as of this recording, but will shortly.
so, but the point to the point is that he's out in the community and networking and bringing attention to the needs and the community. And what you talk about emotional intelligence, hello, you know? So, I mean, do you have any questions, Dr. Dale, for Brian? Because I'm sure, his work, community he works in, or you do.
Why, Brian?
Why? Okay. Yeah. So why I do what I do? Well, I will say that a little over 15 years ago, I was um, having some struggles landing a job. It took over a year after I graduated high school. So I was never employed during high school or anything like that. I didn't really worry about life after high school while I was doing it. Um, but uh, yeah, I was having some struggles with getting a job because I was also thinking about my parents, and I hadn't yet begun to really drive at that time, and so uh, and my mom has been sitting on the board for this nonprofit since 2000. She eventually mentioned it to me, and I filled out a volunteer application. I started out as a volunteer, and then 15 years ago, this month was when I was officially hired at ESW. That's our acronym. Um, and it was just a very comfortable environment. And I will say that in my very early years, I was very uptight about wanting to get something full time. This was before I really even thought that entrepreneur or anything like that could be in the future. So that's why. It's mainly because it's a good environment, and they helped me grow into adulthood, and also helped with some of my personal things that were coming out after high school. So it was kind of like a safe space for me to
So,
deal with
Megan,
things.
to go to what he said, you
Mhm.
heard what he said, right?
Yes.
The culture, the environment, it allowed him the space
Yes.
to grow, to see that maybe there's an opportunity here, because he said he did volunteer. And then he started out as a volunteer, and then he saw, okay, I can work here. I want to work here because I enjoyed being here with these people. I've learned so much. I want to give back. I want to grow. So same thing.
Yes. Yes. Very much so. And now Brian truly giving back to the community by doing all of his, networking. And I'm sure you are enjoying that. Don't misunderstand, but I mean, it's not totally altruistic for the community, but you're learning and growing, and you're continuing to expand your skills. Meaning, when I saw you last night, Brian, or Tuesday night, in those photographs with a woman and two men, and you were a contemporary of those guys and gals. I mean, you were, I mean, it was just a fabulous photograph. I was so proud of you, just seeing you there, and handling yourself as elegantly as you do. And I just, really, just really, really, yes. But Dr. Dale, he learned that it was an environment he wanted to be in and support and grow with. And that's why the gals stayed with me and never left. I'm talking about the estheticians. And now they're renting rooms for me in this new clinic, so they're back with Mama Megan. But the point is that I continue to encourage them. I continue to expand their horizons, just as your team there has helped you, Brian, with, they saw you were posting and doing, and so they expanded your horizons and gave you more responsibility. It's just, that's a win-win, Dale, right? I mean,
Yeah, because the trust started happening, right? He got in there. They saw that he was good volunteering, and the trust slowly started to happen, and relationships started to build, and voila, one thing led to another, because he was curious enough to, hey, let me volunteer. Hey, let me try this. Hey, let me do that. He left the doors open, right? He left it open for not only himself to build relationships, but for other people to see him as more than whatever it is he started as.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And with our guests that are listening, I just really want to encourage you to really think through what we're speaking about, because it doesn't matter where you are. Like Brian started as a volunteer. Um, I'll share this with you guys. Taylor Carter was my lead spa coordinator. She came to me after high school, Brian. Okay. She had never worked before. She did not drive, Brian, but she was the girlfriend of one of my esthetician's son. And so this gal said to me, "Oh, you need to meet." Da, da, da. She started doing laundry, is how she had, but but 12 years later, she was running the show. Okay. Well, now she applied for a job with the state of Texas, and very bureaucratic. And this lady calls me and she said, "Tell me about Taylor. Was she a self-starter?" Self-starter. She ran the place. So, but yet I said to the woman, but yet she took direction. She was a team player, but she took direction. She didn't get ahead of it. She learned, and then she took that skill set and expanded it. So she saw things but was able to bring it to me. So that, to me, what you're speaking about, Brian. You're learning by doing, but expanding the horizon there.
Are you having fun, Brian?
Yeah, I would say overall I'm having fun. Some days are better than others, if we're talking about work.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I have to protect my energy a bit as it relates to the networkings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Good. You
I've never,
should.
I've never asked you this, Brian, but do you see yourself, because I've heard you mention the word entrepreneur many times. Do you see yourself eventually starting something of your own, or you feel that this is a good base and then do some entrepreneurial things on the side of it?
um, it's hard to say what I may see. Uh, the only thing that I know that I can see in the future is being at conferences like many of the Breakfast with Champions people have done in person when they've met up in real life. Um, and that's why I've found what I feel I can naturally give. Um, and ever since I posted that photo last June, I haven't actually reached out to the New Jersey Expo Center to try to make something work. I have not totally felt like I've had the people to work with to make it happen. Um, just because it's it's a bit challenging, uh, and I've never actually like prepared such a long talk either. I mean, when I speak on my YouTube channel, my shows are usually not that long, so it's not like I could really fulfill a 30-minute segment on Breakfast with Champions anyway. Uh, at least at this time, maybe I could work up to it, or if people had recommendations of what I could cover in that time, then maybe.
Wow.
Um,
Dr. Dale, excuse me.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say pretty soon. If you, the fact that you even like a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, were you doing what you're doing right now? I don't think, based on everything that Megan, you weren't doing that, right?
I hadn't
I
even gotten on Clubhouse yet at that time.
exactly.
My anniversary is February 12th. So it's coming up, the 3-year anniversary of when I accepted the invite. And most of the people that live locally to me that actually accepted an invite to Clubhouse, many of them didn't stick with it. I happened to stick with it because I just loved it so much. And although it's used a lot more intentionally now when I am on there, uh, I I do still enjoy it, and I do miss a lot of the people that have gone away from it. Uh, but I'm happy it's still there.
But Brian, I'm going to distill Dr. Ruth, Dr. Dale. What you are saying is that your burning desire is to share and to speak. And so we're going to help you. We're going to help you. I can see Kim crafting a talk for him. Can't you?
Are you talking about Kim Walsh Phillips?
Yes, WP. Yes.
I have never. I mean, I'm connected with her on LinkedIn, but I've never talked to her directly, and I don't know if I could actually get in contact with her because she's so popular and has so many connections.
Well, will help. Will help. But I'm just saying, you have the heart, desire, and we all need coaching. And Dale and I just did 3 days, 4 days, but
3 days.
3 days. And they were long days. They were very intense, but very rich. I mean, um, it was really, really good. But the point of the point is that I know she would take something to heart. She and Justin Guarini. So we'll put we'll put that bee in her bonnet down the road. So because that's your goal, Brian. I've heard it too many times now. And I thought you just wanted to be the host of a get together. You're talking about speaking. I get it now.
And Brian, I wanted to add, Megan, not to cut you off or anything. Brian, you didn't see yourself doing what you're doing now, and you said you're not sure 100% where you want to go, or you want to speak, or you're not comfortable. But you said you want to start with the Breakfast with Champion room. The team there. Let me tell you, you start with them. You're not gonna stay in the same position that you started with them in. Look at where you are now. Look at what you're doing right now. And it may seem small because you overcame it, but before you didn't think like this, right? I got amongst them, and a year and a half, I decided to do a whole coaching business around it. And I would have never, because when I finished my doctorate, I thought I was done, but I wasn't, right? Because I got around people that was hungry, that inspired me, that motivated me, that pushed me. And that's exactly what the BWC Breakfast of Champion Room team and the hosts and all of their expertise does. They push you for more, for better, for the next step of you, right? And that's what your story is going to do. You have a story, and others need to hear it. So keep that in the back of your mind. When you decide not to share it, is because you're holding someone back that needs to hear it from you specifically. How you say it, how you had your experience, it needs to come from you. Otherwise, they're not going to get the message. What I say, what Megan says, what other speakers say may not connect with them, but you do. You will. So you got to do it for those people. And then, for everybody else, or your descendants that come after you, you're going to love it. And this is just the beginning. So I'm really happy for you. Thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I'm still overcoming obstacles. I mean, I live with my parents, for one, and my window to contribute, at least in the morning, for BWC is very slim because I get up at 7 about, and then have to be at my regular job by about 8:30. So so it's very, very slim for me to contribute there. Um, and then there's also other things that um, kind of limit, or are supposed to limit, how much I earn. That and getting in touch with the people of those services is a bit of a nightmare. to do. I'm kind of beating around the bush to it because of this being public, but the point is that although there may be some things that are trying to or maybe seem a bit limiting, I kind of want to work around that. No, I not kind of. I want to work around that because I don't see myself just settling for government help and working a part-time job or just being part of an autism or disability community, but rather blending in with the so-called regulars. So
We're just
that's what it
regulars.
is.
We're
I'm
all
advocating for
regulars.
myself. This is your show, but
No, you're good. You're
No.
good. Megan, tell him he's good.
You're fabulously good. Keep going.
Yeah. So you will, right? You will overcome. You will find a way. You have. It's done. Okay. We already spoke it. February 1st, 2024. And my time is 8:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's done, Brian. I can't wait to see you next year this time. Completely different mindset. So keep going. Slowly but surely. Keep going. Don't you get knocked down, get back up. Get
Yes.
back up.
I was just going to say, Dr. Dale, this is really a auspicious night because you have talked around this, Brian, but not at this, not this declaration. So you're making a declaration and with some pieces to it. And so Dr. Dale, a lot of other people will have heard this, but we're going to, I will, but
Hold you to it.
hold it. But it's not even holding. It's being helping you along the way because
Yeah.
you truly have the ability to just breaking it down, small manageable parts. Working with a person like Dr. Dale, just having that support. Coming in here, Doctor Brian, coming in here and and being surrounded because quite frankly. You joined us, almost 30 minutes ago. So you've pretty much been doing a BWC segment, Brian.
an interactive one at that,
And
which
exactly.
I'm totally cool with.
Very cool. Very cool. That was my vision for this, is to be able to have that interactive. And, when Angelina and I were talking about this, she goes, well, we can do it on StreamYard. And I said, wow, that is perfect. And then stream it out to wherever. So it's wonderful. So anyway, but the point is, this is your night, my friend. And we, because again, when I see those photographs, Brian, you out there, one of those people are going to hire you someday. They are, because they're going to see, right, Dr. Dale? Yes, because they're going to see, for instance, if I, had the need of a bright, talented, hardworking, committed person, I would certainly want to hire you, and so that I don't know if you would want to work at a spa, but the point is that, those people that you're meeting out there have some job for you, some career job for you. They do. They do. As the Bible says, ask, seek, knock. So when you're ready, Brian, that will come.
I believe it. Thank you so much, Megan and Dr. Dale.
Well, it's our
Thank you
yes, and
for being so vulnerable enough to open up. Not a lot of people are brave enough to do that. They shy away from it, and you kind of struck it head on. So I applaud you, Brian. Good job.
but that I would say a lot to do with you, Dr. Dale, and the subject matter. So really, I thank you for joining me tonight. I loved it. Loved having you. Love you. Just a treasure. And really, I just think the world of you. So
Oh, thank you, Megan.
yes, ma'am. So Brian, Any final thoughts? Close the evening.
My final thoughts are this was a really good show as always, and yeah, I when I think about the events I attended over the last 2 nights, I definitely, I mean, as I do with most things I go to, I see Clubhouse in real life, even if it's not people from Clubhouse.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool, and I mean, I know our good friend Maria pays attention to
Mhm.
some of my things, and
Yes.
who knows, maybe she'll be want to come to New Jersey from Long Island or something. I mean, I'm close enough to the Long Island there, so you
Well,
never know.
we're going to make that happen. I told you that. I just have to work that through. But this year, 2024, we will make that happen. Truly, truly, truly. I promise you that. So thank you, Dr. Dale, really, for joining me. And, folks that are listening, if you haven't joined the Propel community, do. Angeline will put, and maybe she already has, but the link to it. But Brian is getting his dailies, right? Your morning thoughts. I'm doing the 10 scrolls from the greatest salesman in the world these last 10 days. We're on day 4 today. And so my heart for that is to, when you open your phone in the morning, that you have a positive nugget of inspiration and encouragement for the day and thoughtfulness to think about something, and so that's the Propel Daily. And then we have, where did Dale go? She left me. But the Propel Deep Dive is Thursday night, and then an email on Monday, Motivation Mindset Monday, and other things are coming. So do join us for the Propel community. I was going to say, where'd you go? But do join us in that, because I launched a affiliate program with the Novitas Spa Clinical Products, and do education training for that through the Propel group and all sorts of things. So I really would love you to join us. And thank you so much, Brian and Dr. Dale, and everyone who was with us this evening. I really, really appreciate you joining us. And BWC, we'll be back next week with, who's going to be my guest next week is Christy Jensen. Do you remember Christy Jensen, Brian, from the social media room? Yes.
I do.
She's going to be my guest next Thursday night. So everyone who came into the social media room for probably a year and a half, do join us, because Christy will be here. So look forward to that. Again, thank you, Dr. Dale.
Amazing. It was fun. Thank you. Bye, Brian. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, love.
Great to see you all.